I'm so proud of you guys. I hope that you are proud of yourselves for just constantly showing up. So tonight I am just going to talk about vision casting and belief. And I'm going to ask you some questions. So like be prepared to at least answer in the chat and um just be with me here because I'm going to give you not just some mindset stuff but some like actions we can take to help with it. Because I'm the type of person where for years and years and years I did struggle with belief and my mindset, and it'd be like, okay, it'd be nice to just believe it, but like I needed an action. Is anyone else like that? Like you want to know, okay, that's nice to believe it, but like I need an action step. And so I am going to give you some action steps that have really, really helped me. So I'm going to tell you a fun story though. And not the whole story because I know we got started a little bit late and we have something special at the end. So, um, how many of you were at convention last year? Anyone? Lots of you. Okay. So you may have heard this story, and Jessica Bingham is going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But I want to just tell you a little bit about belief. I was sitting in convention last year and listening to John Maxwell, and it was all about like, do the do. He said, like, he said he had people come up to him and like, hey, I want to speak on stages someday. How many of you feel like I want to be a gold ambassador or I want to be an emerald ambassador or a diamond or a double diamond? I mean, guys, did you guys see this 4-star diamond trip? Anyone see it on social media? Like, how amazing. Plexus just treats us so well. You want to have those things, right? Okay. But John Maxwell said to somebody, you have to do the do. Like to do what I'm doing, you got to do what I did, basically. And I see your faces, and I know most of you are hopping on every single week. Do not raise your hand. Do not put in the chat here. I'm not pointing at anyone. But how many of you do show up for your business every single day, right? Like how many of us are doing the do? Now, I know the last day of the month, right? When we have goals and we want that special cup or bento box or whatever it is, it's insane to me how like we can add, let's say, I don't know, I'm just going to pick a number, but let's say 20 people for the month, right? But that last day, somehow it multiplies to 40. Like, why is that? Is it because there's anything special? I'll tell you why. It's because people are showing up, right? And I want to normalize, Jen VF said this, and I want to normalize this for my team, not want you to normalize this. What if instead of saying we're going to get 3 customers a month or 4 customers a month, we say we're going to get 1 a week? And what if we did that like real work that we do the last day of the month? Because all of you know how to do it. What if we did that once a week, right? Instead of once a month and we get our 3 or 4 customers. And believe me, I get it too. But that's something I'm doing for myself. And I'll tell you why I'm a Sapphire, and I'm telling you why I just registered for my, 9th trip to Hawaii. And I still have goals, but the thing is, I do show up every single day. I absolutely do. I just do because this is my job. So it's up to you if you want to be paid as, as this is your career, or you want to be paid as a job, or if you want this to be a hobby. It's up to you. But let's go into belief. So last year at convention, when he said that, there's something in me that clicked. And I was just like, I do the do. I do show up every day. And then there was like something in me that's like, I felt like I could conquer the world. You guys, when I was a child, I was obsessed. Amber knows this, even before Plexus. I was obsessed with Debbie Gibson, like obsessed, right? And anyone know who Debbie Gibson even is? Anyone remember? Okay. Taylor Swift had nothing on Debbie Gibson when I was a child. Loved her so much. It's just now, okay, it wasn't like I obsessed all the way through my adulthood, but like as a kid, I was obsessed. So when we were at convention and we were in that big like like dining room type of cafe where there was like lots of food court type of place, I forget what it was called. We were there and I just happened to catch this poster that said Debbie Gibson was going to be there that week. And like a little spark in my heart was like, I have to see Debbie Gibson. Like, but then I thought, what if it's an impersonator? We are in Nashville. I don't know. But we had like a bunch of meetings that night. Like that was a busy day. And I just knew, okay, but it was in the back of my mind. So I went to the gold party. We went to our team party. And that's when we found out about baby Jack at that team party. And it was so exciting. And everyone was tired because it was a busy day. And I asked several people, will you come with me to meet Debbie Gibson? And I'm not mentioning names here, but a few people told me you're not going to meet Debbie Gibson. And I was like, I don't know. I got to try. So my beautiful friend, Jessica Bingham, she didn't believe me either. I know you didn't, Jess, but you're a true friend. You are a true friend. And you're like, I'm not going to let this girl go alone. And the whole time I kept telling her, I believe it, Jessica. I believe it. I'm going to meet Debbie Gibson tonight. I just know it. And we didn't even know if she was actually there. We didn't know if it was in person. We didn't know. I had this belief, this unstoppable belief, right? And so we went to that same little food area and it was like closing down. Like there was hardly anyone there. And we almost left, but I still believed. And I was like, okay, I don't know, but let's ask the guard. And I was like, chance Debbie Gibson was here. And he was like, yeah, she's upstairs. I was like, oh, really? And I was like, well, I mean, is it really her? Is it an impersonator? He's like, no, it's really her. So we went up and like tickets were what, like $50. We didn't even know we needed tickets. We didn't know. And the guy, we knocked on the door and I was like, is Debbie Gibson here? I think he saw the crazy in my eye because he was like, come on in. Like we got 2 extra tickets. And like that alone would have made my night. I mean, Jessica was like, what? This girl's nuts. But I was like so excited. I was taking my video. There she is on stage. You guys, it gets better. A few minutes later, we're singing. First of all, I know every word, like every word. I don't know how. I can't remember why I walked into the kitchen, but like everything I knew in 6th grade, like every word that she sung, it was in my head. So then I see this line of people. Now, again, I don't know if these are VIPs. I don't know if they paid extra. I don't know. But you got to go for it, right? I saw a line of people. I grabbed Jessica by the hand. I saw people like lining up to go on stage, and they had a little gate and some guards. And again, the psycho in my eye. I was like, he was like, go ahead. So we go up and we get on stage. You guys, I'm singing with Debbie Gibson. And here's the thing, there's like, I don't know, maybe 5, 10 of us on stage, like with her backup, and her band. And then I'm like belting it out, singing along. And I get the attention of her backup singer. And he comes and he puts his arm around me and we're singing. Again, this will be awesome. But then again, I know every word. Debbie Gibson herself comes and she turns around and she sees me. And I have the picture to prove it. And I made the reel. She comes along and I actually sang on stage with Debbie Gibson. So after that, my friend Miriam, I don't know if she's on here tonight. Sorry, Miriam, throwing you under the bus. She wouldn't come with me. And because she was so tired. And she was like, okay, I believe everything you say. You're going to be, I will be Emerald next year. I believe you now because your belief. Now, I mean, that's a silly story, but when you believe something, it's almost like you're unstoppable. Okay. And it's true. Like when I started Plexus, I just knew this was going to work. I did not care I never worried what anyone said. I truly didn't. I was more worried what would happen to my kids if I didn't make this work. I was unstoppable. I didn't need any extra training. I didn't need, I made every mistake, but like in my brain, this was my way to continue to stay at home. I was unstoppable. So I'm going to ask you, do you have unstoppable belief? And now I'm telling you, I'm not like this 24/7. I go through, we all do. Okay. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to tell you how I keep with it. But you've got to, now you can give someone every single tool, and we have it. I have it on my team. We have it on this team. Corporate has it where they give you every step, and you guys are on this call every single week, right? We can give you the tools, but it doesn't even matter if you don't actually believe you can do it because your heart's not going to be in it. You're going to think it doesn't matter, and you're not going to show up. When you have unstoppable belief, you will show up. So I tell you that story because why did I go? Because I really believed I was going to meet her. I mean, what if I didn't? I mean, who knows? That was just a silly story. But if I didn't actually believe, then I wouldn't have even gone. And I wouldn't have gone that extra step of asking the guard. And I wouldn't have had the guts to like go and sneak up on stage, right? Or sing it out. Like, who knows what can happen, right? You've got to give it your everything. And so the other thing is sometimes with belief, a lot of the things when we're so worried about what people think about us, right? We're so worried about, oh, the MLMs, people or whatever it is. No one can hurt your feelings unless you let them. Okay. I just want you to know that. If I went up to Lynn and I'm like, Lynn, I'm sorry, but your purple hair is just not a good look for you. Like, I do not like that purple hair at all. Am I hurting her feelings? No, because she doesn't believe she has purple hair. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have an effect on her because she doesn't believe it's true. So why would she even believe that? So if you have such rock solid belief, if somebody comes up to me and like plexus doesn't work, they don't hurt my feelings because I know it does. Like you cannot, but if they come up to me and be like, listen, you're just not a good leader, that's going to crush my soul, right? Because that's something I struggle with. So you've got to get rock solid on your belief. So how? Okay, ready for the good stuff? Here's the how. And if I talk fast, listen, I'm sorry. We'll listen to the recording. I'm from New York and I get excited. Okay. It's the only part of New York that really I have. Oh no, I had it right here. Okay, affirmations. When I first started Plexus as a believer, I don't know why, maybe it's just me. I never quite understood like the affirmations or the manifestation. Like that was a little odd for me. It's just in my independent Baptist, like that just not how I grew up, and it was weird for me. And I didn't understand how you could be like, I'm gonna go see Debbie Gibson and it's gonna happen, or I'm gonna be a diamond, it's gonna happen. Like I didn't get it. And so I'm gonna give you an actual action on what to do here. This is gonna sound counterproductive, but I want you to be ready to either write this down or put it in the chat. Okay. So you go ahead, I'm gonna look at the chat just in case anyone wants to do it. You ready? I want you, if you're feeling vulnerable, just you decide if you want to do this. I want you to write down like 3 things that you really feel hold you back. Like 3 negative thoughts. I know it sounds kind of, just trust the process, just trust me. Something that, yeah, that's kind of how I believe too. So we're gonna switch up because the Bible does say to bring every thought into captivity, right? So this is what we're doing. So go ahead and write it down, be honest, or if you want to just write it on your own paper or just think it in your head. But what are those like 2 or 3 things that you feel like just, you know, aren't just what's holding you back? Like, why can't you do this? Why is it possible that I'm a Sapphire and you're not a Sapphire yet? Why? Right? Okay. So, okay, there we go. Or why is it possible that whatever it is that you want to show up every day, but you just don't? You struggle with this one thing. Why? Okay, there we go. Keep them coming. All right. I won't read them out loud. These are for you, but I want you to write them down. Write 2 or 3 things down. And I'm gonna stop talking just for 1 second to give you a chance to write this down. Okay, so you have them, right? And you might want to take more time tomorrow. I mean, you really want to take this time. Do this tomorrow if you have time when you first to journal, okay? Because I want to ask you another question now. After you've written that down, how does that make you feel? Like, I mean, you really believe this, and some of us may not even being like deep down yet because we're in a group of people and I'm throwing it at you quickly. But like, you know what that thing is, like that just stops you in your tracks, right? Like whatever that is, what is it? And I used to be so afraid of negative feelings. And I used to be like, no, we got to keep it positive, guys, keep it positive. And I don't want anyone to think I'm negative. I want to be happy, happy, happy. Well, here's the thing. We're not always happy all the time. And I want to give you permission to tell you it's okay. Okay. It is okay. And I have a little quote here to read for you. This is actually from a Harvard brain scientist. Okay. He says when a person has a reaction to something in their environment, there's a 90-second chemical process that happens in the body. 90 seconds. So we are so afraid of that bad feeling, of feeling embarrassed, of feeling not good enough, of feeling not worthy, of worrying what people think about us. We're so scared of that we don't take action, right? We're so afraid of whatever this is that you're writing down here that's holding you back. It's a story that you've told yourself over and over and over again. And you're scared to actually deal with it and feel it. But guess what? It only takes 90 seconds for it to go through your body, that chemical reaction. And from there, here's the rest of it. After that, any remaining emotional response is just the person choosing to stay in the emotional loop. It's almost like if you have a beach ball, okay? Think of it in a pool, you're having fun, and you're just trying to hold that beach ball under the water the whole time. Like that's what you're doing to your negative feelings, your emotions, this thing that's holding you back. You're feeling defeating, you're feeling paralyzed, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling horrible and sad. You're pushing it down, down, down. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna be happy. It's okay. But what happens? Eventually, that thing just pops right up, right? But it's okay. What if you take a minute, give yourself 90 seconds and feel it? Feel it. Let it do its thing. Like just if you're upset, maybe you're comparing yourself Maybe you're seeing right now that there's someone else that started the same time you had or started after you have, and they're way further along, or somebody else's like highlight, they're in their season of like major momentum and you just aren't. I feel that too sometimes. And we're comparing, right? We're comparing, or like, I can never do what they do. You don't have to, but you can feel it. Let those 90 seconds go, but now you have a choice. Okay. Now you have a choice. You felt it, you've dealt with it. If you need to take longer, cry, yell, whatever you got to do, journal about it. But once that's done, it's like done. And you realize, oh, I didn't die. Like I did, like that didn't feel good, but like, okay, this is what jealousy feels like. Like just let your heart race, let your body feel what it feels, and just decide, like, okay, this is what devastated feels like. This is what, just literally acknowledge it. And now you have a choice. So now I want you to offer yourself a different perspective, okay? This is kind of silly, but those things that you wrote back, it's not really silly, but those things that you wrote down, I want you to offer yourself a different perspective. And literally just for fun, write down the complete opposite. Just write it back. I'm going to look at some of yours. Okay. I won't read your names. I'm not capable of leading people, somebody wrote. Okay. I don't know how to get them going in the business. Now, that is something that would stop you if you really felt like you can't. And that's a very real feeling. I genuinely relate to that. I still feel like that. I still feel like that sometimes. But what if you wrote down the opposite? What if you wrote something now? I am capable of learning to be a good leader. What is a good leader? A good leader is somebody who loves well. A good leader is somebody who shows up, right? Who knows how to point people in the right direction. And I'm just going to call you out, Jess, because I know you don't mind. You might, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I know about you that you have a heart of gold and you want nothing more than to see people succeed. I know that you're smart and I know that you are capable of learning, right? So I want you to write that down. I want you to take it and I literally want you to write down the switch. And if you don't feel it, like, what if you're like, let's see, I have no confidence. And then all of a sudden you're like, I do have confidence. Well, you can't just sometimes switch. Your brain's too smart. Sorry. But what you can do is say, I'm capable of learning. I'm capable of learning. I care about learning. I'm willing to work hard at being more confident. I'm willing to watch diamond documentaries. I'm willing to practice and be really bad at this until I get better. You can switch it in a way, and those right there, whatever those things are, those are your affirmations. Okay. So I want you to take time. I don't know how much time we have tonight, but at least tomorrow, write down at least 2 or 3 things. And then I want you to flip that. Flip it into a way that you will believe. Okay. Again, if you're like, I am confident, but you're not, you don't really, you have to be, are you capable of learning? Can we admit that? Are we capable of learning? Do we care to be better? Do you have access to tools to have, like, if you have access to tools that Plexus provides, you can be a good leader. Because like I said earlier, somebody who comes along like myself when I was starting, or many of you when you started, you were unstoppable because you needed this. And goodness, there's so many tools now that we didn't even have back when we started. But why was I able to do it? It's because because I wanted it, right? And I was going to figure it out. And the right people that come along, they just need to know that you believe in them and you need to point them in the right direction. And to that direction literally could just be the Plexus Go app, you know? So I want you to take time tomorrow and do this. You're going to write down, you're going to do some reflection. You're going to write down the things that you really feel like are holding you back. You're going to feel it for 90 seconds. Set your timer for 10 minutes if you want. Have a pity party for 10 whole minutes if that's what you need to do. Feel it and then say, okay, now let's flip it and write down these things. And these are now your affirmations. I want you to choose 3 of the most meaningful affirmations because these are your new thoughts and you can put them on your mirror. You know what's on my mirror right now? I'm not even lying. It says, I will be a 4-star diamond and sing with Debbie Gibson at convention. Like, I mean, it's not gonna happen. Who knows? But imagine I worked every day like it was. You know, I might not sing with Debbie Gibson on stage at convention, but maybe I will. And I might not be a 4-star diamond, but you know what? I'm sure, I promise you.
I will tell you the same thing I told you that night. If anybody can do it, you can do it. That is what I will tell you.
I'm not even kidding when I tell you. I actually tagged her and she tagged me back. And then I left her a voice message and I was like, hi, Debbie Gibson. And I was like, you're probably her assistant. This might not be you. And she sent me a video message back. And not only that, I told her how gorgeous she looked and she told me she had health issues. And guess what I said? As a thank you, let me send you our product. And she said to me after my tour, please message me back. I'm gonna look when her tour is done. Anyway,
You're gonna be on the next tour with her is what's gonna happen.
I could be.
So.
I mean, imagine, who knows? But the thing is, you may not be that goal, but your goal sets your pace. That's what I want to tell you. Like, what if I'm not a diamond by convention, but you know what? But my points are a lot higher because I showed up every day like I'm going to be. And that's what those affirmations do for you. Because that belief, you may not, I mean, that's just setting your pace. We can't control everything. We can control ourselves, but we can control how we show up. Okay, I'm going in too fast. So your why. This is another thing that I've struggled with. Your why. When you have now you have your affirmations. Now you got to know, why are we doing this? Okay, so I'm going to give you another little trick here. I want you to ask yourself 2 questions, because I don't know about you, but when I first started, my why, truly, I'm not kidding, my why was just, I want to continue to stay home with my kids, and I needed to make $200 a month to do that. Like that. And then once I was doing great, now I want to get out of my house and get a bigger, like my daughter needed a bedroom. So my why, but then when I reached those things, I really struggled with what now? Like I reached what I needed to reach. Now what? Like that's kind of where I was. So someone said this to me and it really helps. You ask yourself 2 questions. What brings you joy? And listen, you don't have, like, this is personal to you. And if you want to write it in the chat, you can. But I remember hearing somebody say that their why was that they wanted to fly first class whenever they traveled because they didn't want to deal with jet lag. Like they wanted to make a ton of money where they can always fly first class. I mean, that sounds like, something but that was so specific. And who am I to judge? Your why. Like sometimes I feel like we have to be like, Terry, where's Terry? She's amazing. She started an orphanage in India. Like, how amazing is that, right? Like, we think we have to have these amazing big goals, and she actually did it, by the way. But sometimes we have these huge goals, and they're almost too big that they don't seem attainable, right? Because it's like, you think to yourself someday. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But how can you bring that on a smaller scale? So maybe I can't start an orphanage right now, but maybe I can sponsor a child for $20 a month, right? Maybe I can, I don't know, volunteer in my church nursery and help, families that, I don't know, want to be in church, something like that. Like, what is that thing that brings you joy? And the other thing is, this is going to be a clue into really what's in the corners of your heart, is what makes you cry. So what is it, the thing like that makes you cry? I don't know why, but I always cry at reunion. Like when people are, it's just like I have something in me that's just wants to unify people and wants to bring people together. Like what is that? Like what can I do with this? And so I want you to think of some things that what makes you cry and what brings you joy. And how can you do that on a small, and I'm going to talk about vision casting in a minute to bring it a little bit further, but and then ask yourself, okay, well, why does that make me cry? Keep asking the question, why, until you got to peel back those layers. And it's sometimes it might, like right now, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but at this moment in my life, both of my youngest children need braces. And I know Sapphire, like, oh, she must be a billionaire, but I'm really not. You only make money. Here's a clue. You only make money if you don't spend it all. And so, no, I don't care if you're a millionaire. If you spend if you make $1 million but spend 2 million, you're still right where you started. So I've had to learn that hard lesson. So learn it now. So that's kind of where we are. So I could not get both of my kids braces. We don't have health insurance. And I'll tell you, I will earn that $1,000. I needed a new kick in the booty here because I was like, I need that extra $1,000 incentive, that build your own incentive, because I actually felt horrible. I mean, it's just life, but I just haven't had to deal with this in a while, that I had to basically choose between my children who gets braces. I picked the older one because he's older, and but I made a vision board today, and I wrote down, I will get my daughter braces before June. Like that's one of my little whys right now. I don't like, and then, but why is that important? I don't like feeling like I can't provide for my kids. I don't like that feeling. I don't like thinking I can't, like, here we have an opportunity. I just feel like we have this opportunity. It's right here for our taking. The Plexus is literally giving us an extra $1,000 on top of our regular commission. Like, there you go. It's 3 or 4 months of that. I can pay for my daughter's braces. So that is what I mean by like a why, whether it's small like that or a big one, like, hey, I want a bigger home so that I can adopt, you know, older foster boys. That's really what I want. I want to take in like boys who don't have homes and stuff. And I don't know. But you know what? We've been mentoring a boy who lives around the corner whose dad's always gone. He's over here all the time. I basically one of my children. So it's like you can do it in a smaller way, Okay. Sorry. Speaking of boys, mine is singing in the other room. Okay. Last thing, and then I'm going to hand it over back to Amber. With that why, okay, I want you to make a vision board. Does anyone already made a vision board for this year? Okay, yay. Okay, so let's talk about them because I actually made a vision board last year too. It was still on my phone, and I didn't really accomplish any of those things. And I don't know why, but you know why? Because I just randomly put them out there. So I didn't really give much thought, but this time I really was a little more specific. So if you already did one and you did this, awesome, but maybe you want to tweak a few things because let me tell you what I'm gonna say. I don't know about you, but like, you ever think of yourself? Might just be me. I think to myself, I need to yell at my son to stop singing. Is that distracting? Can you guys hear him? Sorry about that. Hold on. Let me yell real quick. Okay. So I always envision myself as like someday. You ever think that? Like, someday I'm going to be at my ideal weight. Someday I'm going to get up early, like every morning. Like, picture yourself. Like, I just don't think about like 10 years from now, right? Just imagine 10 years. And the reason I say 10 years is because literally anything can happen in 10 years. And I want you to like imagine your best self, like the most perfect. Like, if you can design it, if you're like, God, here is what I want, like, this is what I want my life to look like in 10 years. You can picture it. Okay. Like, I imagine myself, at my ideal weight, getting up at 5 a.m. every morning and doing my devotions and looking out my beautiful scenic view with my home, like with the boat, like I told you, like I want these place for kids to be, and like have them there. And like, I envision this whole thing. But like, what kind of person gets up in the morning? You know what I mean? Like a disciplined person, right? What kind of person is in their best shape of their life? Again, a disciplined person, somebody that has, but is that person mean? Is that person rude to others? Is that person kind-hearted? Like, think of the qualities of that person you want to be and just start being that person. It may not look exactly what you think it's going to be. We can't control what's going to happen, but like, start those qualities now. I'm not saying get up at 5 a.m. I mean, you could. That might not be important to you. But for me, Christina, you're like, I already do. Okay. Like, but for me, like, what are those daily things like that I think somebody who deserves this dream life that I have, what are the qualities about them? Like, she doesn't lose her temper and scream at her kids, she might, but but she knows how to manage her emotions, right? She knows how to like think of that person and write those qualities down. Okay. That's what I mean by vision casting. Like, you may not have all those things you think. You may not be a gold yet. But what does a gold ambassador do? What do they have to do to get there? You may not have your dream home, but what if you did? Can you start cleaning your house now or at least folding your laundry? Like, what are the things that we can do to be who we want to be? Because guess what? I'm 43. Someday is here, right? Like, I always see this like vision of myself, but I'm like, you know, I think I'm here now. I need to start like being this now. Okay, so with your vision board, one of the things that really helped me was the SMART goals. You guys know what the SMART goals are? Oh, I forgot to write them down. If you know what SMART means, go ahead. But it's like specific. Okay, I wrote this down today. Measurable. What's A? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. I had it right here before.
Attainable.
Attainable. Yes. Okay, what's R?
Um,
Hold on, I got it right here because I did this today. I wrote it down in my group. Um, bum, 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 bum. Okay, and times we don't know what R is yet, but we're gonna come back to R and then sensitive, I think it is. Oh my goodness, why? Okay. New new post. This is it here. Here we go. SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound.
Yeah.
So when I made my vision board, I worked on it today. I actually wrote down like a picture. I don't know if I could show it to you, but a picture of my daughter, like wasn't her, but like with braces that said braces by June. I would like her to have braces by June. I would like to get back to Sapphire points by July, and I would like to get to Diamond by December this year. That's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable. I would like to meet my weight, my goal weight by July, my birthday. But does that mean like I'm going to start in June? No, you got to back it up, right? So I'm doing my second reset I'm going to do a reset a month. I've got 40 pounds to go. And so that's 8 pounds a month. I can do that. I lost 5 pounds in January, right? So guess what? I might not be there, but if I show up every day, I'm going to get closer. So those are what I want you to do. And then for me, I put that vision board with those SMART goals. And I literally wrote down, this is what I want. This is what I want to accomplish it. And they're all like, at first I was like, I'm going to be diamond by December. I mean, not by December, by convention. Well, I mean, my points, I'll just tell you, were like 1535 this past month. So that's going to be like, I need to get that. That's like 1/3 of the way there. And I got like 4 months. Is it possible? You know, if Debbie Gibson joins my team, it truly is possible. I mean, it is. But is it, you know, I don't know. Is it achievable? Maybe, but I mean, I don't want to stress out about it. I want to do it. I want to show up. So I feel like December is a reasonable goal. So, and I need to, you know, not skip over Sapphire. I need to get back to Sapphire. So that is what I have tonight. So I just as a little, real quick, for those of you who maybe aren't as tech savvy, like I struggle with things, I'm going to give you the best hack to make a vision board. If you go to Canva, you can download it for free and you literally just search vision board. There's tons of templates. Like, I didn't know you could do that. Maybe you did know that. And all you have to do is save your pictures and then you can just fill out the pictures and like just use their templates. It's like so simple. And then I just saved it as the back screen of my phone. So anyway, talking about belief and vision and you know, your dreams coming true and vision casting, I'm going to hand it back over to Amber because like all of her dreams came true this past year, right? In 2023. And especially today, her dream, I mean, this is something I mean, you've prayed over for years and years and years, right? And it's like, it's so hard in the waiting season. I get it. Like, but what a joy to like finally be there and all the lessons in it. So I'm going to hand it back to Amber so she can share what happened today with her dreams coming true.
So some of y'all were going to join us on Zoom this morning, and I will just say this. I was talking to my mom on the phone about this just a few minutes ago. It was like complete chaos for a few minutes right before we walked into the courtroom because no one told us where to go. So we arrive at this courthouse and we don't know if we're pulling up to like a huge courthouse or like a small little family court building where there's like we had no clue. Well, sure enough, it was this huge courthouse. It's 5 floors with like 2 or 3 courthouses on each floor. And we're like, well, we don't know where to go. And of course we had a certain time. We had to be there at 8:30. So we go to one place and they tell us to go here, and we go to this other place and they tell us to go here, and we go to this other place. So the last thing on my mind was starting a Zoom call. I'm like, where do we go? But finally we went in and we stood before the judge, and it was like a lot of peace just fell over me, and I think over Jonathan too. And found out later that somehow the Zoom call had gotten started, but of course we weren't on it. But Terry was praying over us right at about that exact same time. When it just felt very calm and peaceful. Our judge was amazing. It was just another sweet, sweet gift from God through this process. And I mean, I'm sharing all of this with you guys because I feel like a lot of you have walked this journey with us for so long now. And then I know you've all fallen in love with baby Jack on Facebook. We went to a church last night where we have a lot of friends, but we hadn't seen them since Jack was born. And all these people coming up to us, we know you from Facebook. We know you from Facebook. I'm like, Jack, you're Facebook famous. But I also just wanted to share with you guys, I want us to pray very specific prayers over our plexus teams. I think that God gets the glory in that. And the reason I say that is because I saw God answer so many specific prayers with Jack. These are literally some of the prayers we prayed was for us to have a really good birth mother. And this is an open adoption. And of course, you could imagine the worst, you know. Our birth mother, we met with her last week for our second visit. We love her to pieces. We would adopt her too if we could. She is just the sweetest thing. She took such good care of herself while she was pregnant, which is huge. She didn't have to do that. But I mean, took such good care of herself, even went so far as to change her diet. And I mean, just not, so I say go so far. We got so many info summaries where birth moms had drug history and alcohol history, and we said yes to those, but we knew there was probably going to be more challenges there. But our sweet birth mother took such good care of herself. We prayed for Jack to have the joy of the Lord. This baby is the happiest baby you will ever see. So content, so sweet. And I don't think I'm just saying that because I'm his mother, because I've had so many other people tell us that. My mom is like, yeah. We prayed for him to have the peace of the Lord and have contentment. He's so content. We prayed for him to be a good sleeper. He has slept through the night since like week 3 or 4. All of these things we prayed so specific for attachment with our son. And that's so important in an adoption. And I mean, Jonathan and I were just talking about this. He felt like our son the minute we met our birth mother. Well, maybe not the minute, but after we got to know her. We were like, yes, this is our son. Like we just knew it. And that attachment is definitely reciprocated. He knows us. So all of these very specific things. So I just want to encourage you guys, pray, don't spray it, pray it, don't spray it, right, guys? Specific prayers over your life and over your team. If there's someone on your team that you think could just be a rock star, if only they would, and go back to some of those things that Amy was talking about, those reasons that they let hold them back. Pray those very specific things. So we will go ahead and technically end this call for now because I'm going to end the recording. But those of you that would like to stay on, I will show you the video from this morning because I could watch it all day long. It's a little less than 10 minutes. Like it cracked me up. The entire adoption ceremony, all this process, less than 10 minutes. But I am going to stop the recording.